Introducing the new Women of Austin community. You asked, we answered. We have created a special online community where we can stay connected between events without the distractions of your typical social media platforms. You'll find exclusive content, in-person member-only events, discounts from local businesses, and so much more. Become a founding member today at womenofaustincommunity.com. Hi, my name is Mindy Hofman, and welcome to the Women of Austin podcast. Today, we have an episode that I'm so excited about. We're going to talk about becoming the best version of you. We're going to learn how to become your best self, and I can't wait to get started. So, ladies, thank you so much for being here. I always like to start with a quick warm-up question. So I would like to know something that people would be surprised to know about you, starting with Amy.
My name is Amy Edwards, and I am from Central Texas. I grew up here, and I've lived in Austin for almost 30 years. I'm a podcast host and creator, and a voice and transformation specialist. It just speaks to my heart because I love this city so much. And anytime we can build up this community that is so incredibly beautiful, I am more than happy to show up, dress up, and be a part of it. So I could not be happier. Thank you, Mindy. Thank you to you. Thank you to everyone.
Well, thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited to be here. And something that people are a little surprised to learn about me nowadays is I thought I'd mention the fact that I'm a rock and roll artist, just because I think that you didn't really know that.
Yeah, I had no idea.
And so here we are with a bunch of guitars. My first guitars were Fender. I had a Stratocaster that I had custom painted in gold sparkle. And I took up rock and roll. I learned guitar, electric guitar, when I was about 38 or 39 years old. And
No way.
Yeah, I didn't release look, good surprise.
Yeah.
I didn't release my first album until I was 40. And now I have about 5 albums that I've released in my early 40s. And it taught me a lot about mindset and everything that I talk about today.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Thank
you
you
for sharing. I'm going to look into that more, listen to your music.
Hi, my name is Amanda Nelson, and I'm from Austin, Texas. And I own a wellness brand called 60 Days Away, where we help people become the highest version of themselves in 60 days. And that can be through social media videos, through speaking engagements, through products. I have a 60-day guided journal and also some meditation mindful cards. It means a lot to me to be able to even be in a room with these kind of people. I mean, I personally want to always surround myself with people who I admire, who I can look up to, who I can look to and take little things from their work ethic or personality. And so like to be in a place where it's all coming together at the same time is really awesome. So mine also actually has to do with music. And I love that you said that. So I'm a singer, and I've been singing for my entire life. And I have always been in like choirs and musicals and all of the things. And I actually got like 2 letters in high school for all of the hours that I just put in. And so sometimes on the weekends, me and my husband hang out. He plays guitar and then I sing, and we just have like jam sessions at our house. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
No idea.
You may have albums in front
You
of you.
guys need to make a band.
Yeah, I know. We need to do it. We're going to start a band.
My name is Brooke Stubbs, and I'm from Austin, Texas. I'm a physician in internal medicine and lifestyle medicine, and I own a practice called Rooted Femme. It's a concierge practice where I help women optimize their wellness through lifestyle factors. And I also am the founder of the Rooted Food mobile app, which is an app I developed to help people to get a variety of plant foods in their diet for gut and overall health. This is my 3rd time on the Women of Austin podcast. I'm always so honored when Mindy asks me to join her podcast because she always has incredible women on the show. And it's always a group of women who's willing to support and uplift each other. I'm not very musical, but a different form of art. I am a painter. I actually, in undergrad, I majored in both chemistry while I was doing my pre-med studies and art, so with a concentration in painting. So I paint.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. That's really calming and relaxing and good for the soul.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, let's dive in. I'm going to start with a quick quote that I read that resonated with me. Zig Ziglar said, set a goal so big that you can't achieve it until you grow into the person that can. And I thought that was a really nice way to start the show and talk about becoming your best self, because, what is your best self? What can that be? And I think that there are a lot of different things, and I think mindset is one of them. And Amanda, I wanted to talk to you about mindset a little bit and see what you think about mindset and how important it is.
Yeah, I think it's very important. I think a lot of people often get tripped up on words like best self and highest self, and what does that mean to you? And it can mean whatever you give it power, right? Like, so if you want to say higher self, say higher self. If you want to say favorite version of yourself, like how are you showing up in a way that makes you feel good about yourself? It doesn't have anything to do about anybody else. And in reference to the quote, I like the quote, but I would also maybe question, why does that have to be something that you wait to show up for? Why can't you make that right now? Like, It is all a mindset shift, right? So if you reframe that and say, like, I can show up as this person right now and do it and nobody's going to stop me, more power to you to do it.
Heck yeah. And then what about being authentic while you're on this journey? Amy, I know that you talk about that a lot.
I do. And just to tag on to what Amanda said too, I read a practice recently where he suggested thinking of this big goal and then doubling it or tripling it or just getting it so much bigger and making yourself uncomfortable. And then suddenly you're more comfortable with that initial goal. That one doesn't seem as unachievable. It seems a little easier. And so there are just ways that we can push ourselves all the time, I think, if we're willing to do it and just become a little bit better every single day. And as far as authenticity, yes, I have really, that was one thing, I mentioned music earlier. Yeah. And when I first started writing music, that's a really good example because I was trying to write for what I thought people wanted to hear. And so many times we can do that, even in our posts on Instagram. What do people want to hear? And instead, I realized that doesn't resonate. It's when we really get into our heart. And I had to write a whole new album from that first album. And I listened to that back to that first one and I go, oh gosh. And then I listened to the second one and I know it came deeply from my heart. And it was blood, sweat, and tears. I really had to push myself. But those are the times that we are shining our brightest. And that's the goal when we talk about our best self, is shining our brightest and just letting ourselves open up a little bit more every single day to that shine, however that looks, and getting more in touch with who we really are and what we can really express rather than being caught up in what we think the world wants from us.
Do any of you have any tools that you can recommend or that you use to help you figure out what that is and to find that? Like, you listen to your heart, and sometimes there's just so much noise going on that it's hard to know what your heart wants. And you see, like you mentioned, like on Instagram, what you think people want you to be. So I'm curious how, like, Brooke, do you have any tools that help you listen to who you are?
Yeah. I think the most important thing is realizing that you have about 60 or 70,000 thoughts a day. Your analytical mind is always assessing your environment. And so being able to turn off those thoughts is really the first step to really getting to your truth, because your mind can tell you a lot of things, but not all of them are necessarily true. And you don't have to buy into all of those things that you're fed by your subconscious. We get our subconscious thoughts from everything around us, what people have told us about ourselves, and we latch onto certain things, and that becomes our identity, so to speak. But if we want to create a different alternate reality or a different narrative for ourselves, we can do that. We just have to then slow those analytical thoughts down. And so meditation is how I do that. I meditate every morning before I start to journal and start to really redefine that narrative for myself.
That makes a lot of sense. And it shows, like, you are all just like glowing, positive women, and you all do things that help other women, not just women, that help other people. That's why I was so excited to have you all on here to have this conversation. And what you said, Brooke, about journaling, I wanted to talk to Amanda about, because you have a journal. Like, just tell us more all about that, because I use it, I love it, and I've already seen a change after less than 2 weeks.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I started the journal 60 Days Away, Becoming Your Higher Self in 60 Days to help people in a really digestible way that makes a lot of sense for beginners. And so I like that you said that because it's easy to just, you're not just like dumping thoughts from your brain onto a piece of paper and it's daunting and you're like, I don't know what to write. It's guided prompts and little activations and questions to get you to start thinking about things instead of just being like on autopilot, right? And so, yeah, it's a really important practice. I think I would recommend it for everybody, just any journal at all, not even mine. It's just getting into some type of a daily habit in the morning is you cannot put words to it. Your future self, your higher self will really thank you for that. And I think it's really important.
Now, speaking of habits, that is really, really important. And that's something that I'm always trying to work on, is looking at my good habits and bad habits. And Amy, I'd like to hear what habits you have or any advice you have on how to keep the good ones going. And
Yeah, because it can get overwhelming. You know, we can start a list of all the things that we think we want to accomplish. Yeah. And before coming on this show today, I really thought a lot about what would I prioritize overall, because journaling, meditation, they're all so important. But I think it is the power of recommitting every single day and building recommitting into a habit. And so every day you're getting up. Commitment starts you off, sure, but recommitting every single day to your relationships, to yourself, to being your best you, whatever it is that makes you feel good, brings you more joy, and gets you a little bit further to your goals. So that was what I thought about. And then on top of that, doing it more often than you don't. So whatever it is, journaling and all those things, just do them more often than you don't. Don't get so hard on yourself that you have to do it every day, that you're beating yourself up if you don't. Like, just get in the habit of giving yourself a little grace, giving yourself a little space, understanding that you're human. So those are my top two that I've grown into as I've done the rest and made the list and been hard on myself and all that. That's what I've learned.
Doing it more often than you don't, that really stands out. And that makes me think of Brooke, nutrition. And I've heard you talk about before, you don't have to do it all at once. And tell me more.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Amy said, it's like we're human, and you may have this goal that feels very lofty based on your current reality, but taking one step, something that feels attainable for you. For me, that was just switching over to plant-based milk. And then the next step was getting rid of meat, which was an easy step for me, but might not be for some. And so then, you know, if that's something you want to attain, kind of maybe if that's part of your goal set, cutting your meat portions in half, that's the next easy step. And maybe that's not a part of your goal, but I do think that just adding more fruits and vegetables into your diet, more plant foods, that really raises your energy and your vibration so that you can start to achieve more of the things that you're committed to. But it doesn't have to be all or nothing.
That makes sense. I think that makes it easier and more attainable. And you also have your app that helps track what you're eating. And
yeah, and I'm really committed to a plant-based diet because I think that lays a really good foundation for everything that I want to achieve. I think the energy that it gives me helps me to expand into my opportunities, and that's why I started the app, because I wanted people to experience that for themselves. There's really like a feeling of a sense of well-being that you get from a plant-based diet, and that helps with meditation and journaling and you know, all of those things. And so with the app, that just helps you to get a variety of plant foods in your diet. It helps you to focus on that variety, getting a rainbow, getting all the categories of plant foods. And that helps to build. We talked a little bit before the podcast about a healthy gut microbiome and all of the benefits of that and improving your mood. And so if you're walking around with more energy and an increased mood, imagine all of the things that you could do with all of your dreams and goals and stuff like that.
I need to add something to that because that was so good.
It was so good.
Okay, so I it's a brief story. I went to the app launch party that Brooke had for her app, and being plant-based wasn't something that was on my radar. I don't know if it ever will be, and that's okay. But I remember one thing that you said to me, and it was, at least try to challenge yourself, if this is not like an all-in or nothing thing, to add more fruits and vegetables to your diet. So I got the app and I started counting. Like, it was a fun challenge for me. I don't know. For me, it was, at least. And I was like, okay, I got 12 in today. And I'm telling you, it made me feel so much better. I kept everything the same, and all I did was just add more. And I think for me too, that mindset of like, let's not take away or deprive yourself of something. Let's just add more good into it, really attests to what she was saying of, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It could just be these little daily tiny habits that you're putting in. That's an obtainable goal rather than just this whole big picture. It's very terrifying and scary. Like, little tiny steps every day make a huge difference.
And you just feel so much better. You do.
You have no idea how happy that makes me.
Well, thank you.
Well, just that is the purpose behind the whole app. And that was the whole reason I developed it. So you have no idea how happy it makes me to hear that. Yeah.
I think too, there's an awareness aspect of it. And if we can just really get more and more aware all the time of what we're doing, and that's probably a good aspect of your app. Anytime you're logging it or looking at it, you're tapping into that awareness and the habit of getting more aware.
Yep.
At Amplify, we are getting rid of all banking fees, so you have a little extra to sprinkle around. No fees equals more sprinkles. Amplify.
Does auto repair leave you frustrated? Wondering, where do I go? How much will this cost? Obigo is now in Austin and has solved all of those problems. Obigo and Dave's Ultimate Automotive have teamed up to bring Buy Now, Pay Later to Austin with 0 interest. No credit, no problem. Auto repairs never wait for the perfect time. Now you don't have to worry. Find Obigo in the App Store and download it today. That's OBIIGO. Hi, my name is Mindy and I'm the founder of Women of Austin. Today we're talking about becoming the best version of you, living your best life. And I have 3 guests today that do just that, and they show other people how to do it in their day-to-day life. I'm so excited for this conversation. Thank you for being here. Today we're filming at In Cahoots in their new Fender Lounge. This event space is amazing, and I would like to send a special thanks to In Cahoots for having us back for the 3rd time. We love you so much. Thank you guys. I see both of you, Brooke and Amanda, on Instagram working out early in the morning. Amy, you look like you work out all the time too.
Well,
So let's talk about let's talk about working out and how that can help you become the best version of you, and what the benefits are for you guys, because I see it and I'm like, oh, they're up early. That looks hard. But like, you guys are glowing and you have energy and you feel good. So tell me more.
I hate it so much. I literally hate it. It's, but it's the best thing that I can do for myself.
Yeah.
You feel better mentally. You perform better in whatever you're doing during the day. You look better, which means, my self-confidence is off the charts. And I'm like, you know what? I look really good today. But no, I don't enjoy it until I'm done. I don't want to get out of my warm bed right in the morning. Like, it's still dark outside. It's this comfort thing. But when you do things that are uncomfortable, obviously you're going to grow from that, but you have more of this sense of self-respect too, which is, you can't put a price on that. It's invaluable.
Yeah. I think that anybody who exercises experiences that kind of afterglow, like, I didn't really want to go through it, but now that I have, I feel so much better, right? You release these endorphins, you have more energy throughout the day. When you mentioned getting up early, I read a book called The 5 a.m. Club, and it's all about how to like expand into your better self or your higher self. And it really talked about getting that time in the morning that's just for you and starting your day off right. And I don't do it every morning. I mean, I try to be very consistent because I notice what a difference it makes in my life to have time to get up, say how grateful I am for the things that I have gratitude for, meditate, journal using the 60 days away journal.
Yes.
And then I work out. And so it's that sequential pattern that has become my routine that sets my day off on just a brighter trajectory. And the days I don't do it, I just don't feel like the best version of myself. And so I would highly recommend the book, but even if it's not 5 a.m., getting up a little early, giving yourself that time to really center yourself, because before that, and I think like a lot of people, I was just waking up and letting whatever came to my brain to define my day in the morning.
Oh, wow. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Keep going.
No. And I just, and now I'm more centered. Those things, when they come to me, I don't react to them anymore. I really kind of internalize based on, a centered reality more. And then I can respond in a better way instead of just having these reactions. And I think that leads to a lot of stress, and then stress leads to disease. And, and we want to live healthy, happy, energetic lives. But if we're just letting everything come to us, I feel like we get lost in the minutia.
Mm-hmm. It's giving you more of a sense of control in your own life and of your own emotions and your own state, which takes out that reactiveness. I too get up early, and a lot of my friends are like, "What are you doing?" But I'll get up. It depends on the day with my kids, because I have 2 teenage daughters, and so I need that time to do exactly what you said. I'm able to handle the day better. I'm setting myself up for success when I do that. And yes, it's a little difficult, but I'm in the habit now. My alarm, for some reason, is at 5:17, and I pretty much turn that one on every single day. And so I just get up, and I've learned and trained myself to enjoy it. And I know I'm going to get my tea. I know I'm going to get quiet time. I know I'm going to get to meditate, to journal, to do all the things that set me up for success for the day. And when I don't do it, I notice. I notice maybe I'm rushing more and just a little out of it, and maybe a little sharper with people, maybe my kids. So yeah, it makes a huge difference. If you can start to incorporate that habit, it's beneficial.
And I was going to say something to one of Amy's earlier points where she talked about recommitting. Part of that early morning routine for me is like an affirmation. So when my alarm goes off, it's first, what am I grateful for before I even sit up? And then it's before my feet hit the floor, it's like, I got to show up as her, and it's going to be a good day.
Yes.
And so it's recommitting every day to that person who not only I am within, like I already know she's within and I'm worthy of her, but I get to expand in her and grow with her.
Yeah. And look at that future self, that one that we can see, that great version of us that's out there. And you can just incorporate living as her a little more easily.
And if anybody out there needs tips they're like, okay, like it looks great, sounds great, but that's not going to happen for me. Try it one time. And I'm going to take a mix of what they both said, because I do this in the morning. Mine's at 5:20. So weird. And if you have an iPhone, I don't know if this is Android or any other phone, but what I do is you can actually name your alarms. And so when I look at my phone, I have 5:20, 5:21, 5:22, and I just pick the night before which one it says. And 5:20 says, you are that girl today. Ooh. And then another one says, you need to get up and become her. Like, you can write different things so that when I look at my phone, I'm not just like, look, and then slam it. I'm like, actually, I am.
Yeah.
So it's this affirmation built into this daily ritual of an alarm that's so simple, but you can incorporate these things really easily, like little tiny things in everyday life.
Can I add something to that too? I love that, by the way. I'm totally going to do that.
Do it.
But I liked what you said about just try it. Like, so many of these things, at least my mindset, I just consider it an experiment. For instance, being sober right now. Like, I'm just like, it's an experiment that I'm trying. So any habits that you take on, you're like, let me just experiment with it, see how I feel.
Right. Nothing to lose.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you figure out what works. And that's the whole part about, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It's a stepwise process. And then you look back 2, 3, 5 years down the road and you're like, look how far I've come with the intention and the awareness around what I'm doing.
Perfecto Cat Lounge is Austin's first premier cat lounge experience. At Perfecto Cat Lounge, you can indulge your kitty fix or adopt your newest family member. Perfecto Cat Lounge helps local overcrowded rescues and provides homeless and abandoned cats with 9 lives full of love. Book your cat experience today at perfectocatlounge.com. That's PURRFECTO catlounge.com. Women of Austin would like to thank our community sponsors. Hot Works Austin Lakeline at Anderson Mill Road and FM 620. Dave's Ultimate Automotive. Visit davesultimateautomotive.com and become a part of the Dave's family today. Magic Robot, magicrobot.com. Elite Marquee and Events at Elite Marquee Austin. This is all so good. It's so much to process. I know I'm going to watch this episode like 4 times because each time I'm going to get something and try it and get something and try it.
Can we do a part 2 then?
Yes.
We'll just have to do part 2.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Please.
Okay, great.
Happening. And we're actually out of time. Can you believe it? I told you it was fast. Yes. But to learn more about all these things that these incredible women were talking about, you can learn more in the description. And thank you so much for being here, you guys. And I just really appreciated this, and I learned so much. And I can't wait for part 2. Let's do it.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for joining us today on the Women of Austin podcast. A new episode premieres twice a month right here on the Women of Austin channel. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you never miss an episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at women_of_Austin. My name is Mindy Hofman. I hope you'll join us for our next episode of the Women of Austin podcast.